Would you believe a woman who was being treated so well by her husband tried to get a divorce from her husband? He never fights her, he always forgives her mistake, and yet the wife didn't want that kind of life and pleaded for a divorce. In this video, we'll try to see the culprit behind this. Check it out. And I get this an article from my social media, and it's on Instagram, and let's take a look at the article. Right, so it's from the Romani, the clerics. In a bizarre incident, a woman from Sabal district in Uttar Pradesh had sought divorce from her husband on the ground that he doesn't fight with her. It's amazing. I don't know what's the effect behind this. The woman has approached a Sharia court for divorce just 18 months after her marriage of only 1.5 years. The woman claimed that her husband's love was suffocating her. He doesn't shout at me, and neither has he upset me on any issue. He even cooks for me and also helps me in performing household chores. She further said, "Whenever I make a mistake, he always forgives me for that. I wanted to argue with him. I don't need a life where the husband agrees to anything." Alright, it's kinda too good to be true, but once someone get that fantasy or get that dream come true, this woman, for example, taking the opposite action, try to get a divorce, try to abandon that dream. The Sharia cleric expected rejected her plea for divorce. It's a frivolous, said the cleric, and yeah, right. This article is, I don't know, it's confusing at all, but personally I think I cannot take a full picture based on this mere article. We have to dive deeper on what the fact and the circumstances might happen between this family. Maybe the history behind the women, and also the, I don't know, maybe a crucial event that might have happened in the past might affect this. And also, based on that fact, it will affect their value and their preferences on what kind of life they want. If I'm trying to see it, it's kind of communications problems, based on this article, where there is no conflict at all. The husband tried to be pragmatic and try to avoid all of the conflicts. He always agrees with the women, and that's the proof that there is lack of good communications. Communications basically just exchange of ideas between one person to another, and it means there must be a conflict to some extent, and that conflicts will create a dynamic between these people, because they communicating with each other and had the opportunity to share their value and opportunity to create an empathy to the another party. And that's why a conflict, to some extent, and always in moderation, is a good thing. So we will see the consequences of the lack of communications. Without proper communications, especially between family, the husband and the wife, there will be a negative space between this vacuum. The women in this case will negatively think the husband had something behind him. And it is also people tend to think negatively when they have or they have not enough information on the kind of situations. Imagine you have not enough information on a certain event, on a certain people, your thought tend to think, negatively, right, instead of positively. And back to the woman, it seems that the woman had a negative idea or think negatively to her husband. Well, it could be anything from the whether he had an affair with someone else, or maybe he was conspiringly planning something behind her. We don't know, but it must be something negative. And we could also safely presume, since it is a family matters, the woman thought that he was not a strong leader since he has no clear value and positions for things. And at the end of the day, a lack of communication will create a dim view to form, and ultimately it will affect negatively to the health of the relationship. And another thing, actually there is a lot of ramifications on the lack of communications. It could run in many aspects of our lives. Alright, so let's stick to the issue here, since the woman didn't want to treat it like that. So I tried to use a theory. It's called the love battery theory. So this theory says that there is 5 types of batteries inside of people that need to be charged to make that people feel well treated. And although for adults maybe there is only 1 or 2 type of batteries that need to be charged in order to make they feel loved. And this theory is popularized by Dr. Aisyah Dahlan. And while a full review on this theory might need another or entire video. So if you're interested in it, write down in the comment whether I should review this type of batteries, this theory. Alright, so let's move on. I like to explore this a bit based on this theory in a summarized form. So basically, the situation was a lack of information. He didn't know how she wanted to be treated or to be loved. Let me clarify this point. He didn't do anything wrong by treating her extremely well per se, but in this context, she might have another type of battery. What her husband did might charge another person's batteries, but alas, it didn't charge her wife. The charging block doesn't match the gadget or the battery. It's pretty obvious. That's the core of the main problem. Alright, to recap from this article, that say a wife sought a divorce because he has a husband who agrees to anything he said and who always forgive her mistake. We can conclude that a lack of communication, especially between your spouse, may produce a bad ramification in the long run. And it creates a negative space, and it creates a bad thought to your spouse, and will severely affect how you will feel and conduct in your relationship. And another bad cause of limited good communication is you cannot know exactly what your spouse wanted to be treated, to be loved, what kind of battery she or he has. And you may have that kind of problems in your family. Maybe you, with this lack of communications, maybe you don't know a subtle difference what kind of battery that he or she has, and that's pretty crucial. The charging block doesn't match the battery. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you treat her or him so well. A lack of good communication will severely harm your relationship in the long run. Hello, my name is Afi Baskoro. If you like this kind of video, consider subscribing and like, and also share it with your friends. I make these videos where all things related to parenting are unboxed, so you can look at what's inside. Unbox parenting, unbox your potential.